Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the series. I want to jump straight into the text this morning. We're reading from Mark chapter 8 from verse 34 onwards. Then he called the crowd to him along with his disciples and said, "If anyone would come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me and for the gospel will save it." And then those same verses from the Message paraphrase, calling the crowd to join his disciples, he said, "Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat, I am. Don't run from suffering, embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way, my way, to saving yourself, your true self. What good would it do to get everything you want and lose you, the real you? What could you ever trade your soul for?" And with these words, Jesus is getting down to the nitty-gritty of what it means to follow him. He's gone from calling these fishermen, Peter, James, and John, and Andrew, from being fishers of men to taking up their cross. If I was one of those guys, I would have been surprised. Lord, come on, like fishers of men, that sounds really promising. That sounds great. That sounds really lucrative. But taking up my cross, that's an instrument of torture and of death. Is this the good news? Well, Jesus is basically outlining the terms of the gospel is not just a surrendering of one's life, but actually an enthroning of Christ's life in our very own. And this is radical stuff from Jesus. To follow him is not to be religious. It's not even to adhere to a set of beliefs, but it takes a whole of life response. Jesus here is setting out the kingdom principles of sacrifice and surrender. But in that, and just as any parent who sacrifices time, energy, resources for the sake of their children, the children that they love, and in turn find joy and a fulfillment that they hadn't anticipated before, so too are those who sacrifice their lives for the kingdom of God, who sacrifice being in charge of our own life to put Jesus on the throne. We find ourselves recipients of a newfound joy, fulfillment of life. And in that, we find that Jesus, this Jesus who is Lord of all, actually knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about, and he is incredibly trustworthy. So this is the challenge, both the invitation and the challenge, to follow Jesus. He's worth knowing, he's worth following, and he's worth surrendering our will to.